Hello and welcome back to A Better World. This is your host, Mitchell J. Rabin, and we're very glad that you're joining us again today. Today we're going to have another very interesting show. We're very pleased to have with us Dr. Tony Minervino, who is here from San Diego, out on the East Coast briefly, and we're very glad to have him on the show to be talking about a few different aspects of his work. Tony is a chiropractor, and he's been doing that for many years, network chiropractic and other types, which he'll be going into, including something called the Illumination technique. But this show, we're going to be speaking about something called the Transformational Workout. It is a system that Tony came up with, or better, came to him, and he'll be walking us through this in a very practical way, so you'll both hear and see what it's about, so you and I can all get into quite extraordinary, energetic, physical, and spiritual shape together. So Tony, it's a pleasure to have you on the show.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, absolutely. So would you just please first tell the audience a little bit about what this is, Transformational Workout?
Certainly. The Transformational Workout is a system of simple movements and deep breathing that literally can transform your life.
Wow. Okay.
Literally.
Give me some sense of what the dynamics are of that, and how does that happen?
Right. Well, first of all, let me say I developed this because I wanted to get in good shape.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I had taken 6 years running a personal injury clinic in Connecticut, and I just wasn't in good shape. I got back to San Diego, and I didn't look good in that bathing suit.
Yeah.
And I knew I had to do something about it.
And that's important in San Diego.
It absolutely is.
And everywhere.
And everywhere. I had to do something about it, and I knew the gym wouldn't work for me because I don't have the discipline. I've never been able to keep up with it.
Mm-hmm.
I've never done any exercise program that I could follow through on for more than a week or two. So I knew I needed something fast, fun, active that required no equipment.
Mm-hmm.
And what I
that
did,
you could bring anywhere, so to speak.
Anywhere you are, you got it, because it's fast, fun, and effective.
You
and
need
requires
your
no
body,
equipment.
folks. You do need your body.
And you need your mind, and you need to breathe. And basically, that's what makes it work. That's what generates it. Because it's simple movements, like for instance, this is the curl, and you're providing the tension with your mental focus. So you're doing an exercise which grounds you in your body.
Mm-hmm.
You're creating the muscle tension with your mind, which focuses your mind. So your emotions have no choice but to calm down.
Mm-hmm.
So basically, you're grounded in your body, your mind is focused, your emotions are calm. Don't you think that might change your life? And what I found was that the feedback from this workout was almost instantaneous. I mean,
that you felt in your body?
Right after the first workout, I felt excellent. I looked in the mirror, I didn't look any different, but I felt excellent. And the next day, I wanted to do it because I wanted the feeling that I got the day before. And there were days, and everyone will experience days when you just don't feel like doing it, but you want that experience, that way you felt after you did it, and that motivated me to follow through on it.
Sure. The endorphin release, everything.
It's superb. And
oxygenation, probably.
Exactly. And it started out as a half-hour program, and I actually did it about 4 or 5 days a week for a half hour for about 4 to 6 months. And in 4 to 6 months, well, actually within 4 months, I realized I had something on my hands that was much more than a workout program, because it literally transformed my life. My eating habits changed, my activity levels changed, the things that I was interested in changed.
Energy level changed?
Energy level changed. I mean, I was actually in great shape. And it didn't matter if I was...
You look in great shape now. But you had said that... You're welcome. But you had said that at the time when you began this...
I couldn't bend over and tie my shoes. My
That's kind of hard to believe.
My friends in San Diego teased me. They said when I came over, my stomach walked in first, and then a couple minutes later, I walked in.
God,
now, I wasn't really fat.
A couple minutes.
I wasn't really fat, but I couldn't bend over and tie my shoes straight over.
So you were not in good shape.
No, and you feel old when you can't do that.
Yeah.
Now, I'm 50 years old. I'm a baby boomer.
Gotcha.
Okay? And this is not about looking like Arnold Schwarzenegger. It's not realistic. I can't get that vision. All right? And you're never going to look like Schwarzenegger either.
I don't want that vision, thank you very much.
There's times when I wish I had it.
Well,
but, you know, we can't imagine looking like we used to look. We can't imagine having the energy level we used to have. We can imagine that.
Yeah.
Because what happens is, in the course of life, is we just let ourselves go. We're not quite as active. We eat a little bit more. And, you know, they talk about, you know, being hungry and on the rise. but when you get successful, you get a little bit well-fed. Well, that's true.
Yeah.
All right?
It really is.
And now that we have
metabolism slows down, you find yourself sitting and talking or reading or computing more than being physically active the way you were as a younger person.
Oh, sure. And instead of fast food, we can afford restaurant dining.
Yeah.
And order the dessert.
Yes.
And I'm not saying you want to do away with that, but you need something else going on in your life to balance that out, so you can, when you reach that point in life where you have the means to really enjoy it, that you have a physical body that's strong enough to allow you to enjoy it.
That's right.
Because
That's a really good point.
Yeah, this workout literally increases your mental focus, it calms your emotions, and it conditions your body to where you feel comfortable and you're confident, much more confident in any situation.
Beautiful. Would you walk us through, or what have you?
Excellent. What I'll do is, instead of doing a real-time workout,
sure,
I'll demonstrate the various moves and give some indication as to how many reps you want to do, so that the people at home can then watch your show and study the individual moves and actually duplicate the workout at home.
Apply it to themselves. Beautiful.
Excellent.
Good. Stay tuned. Sounds good.
Okay, what we're going to do now is go through each of the movements so that you get a feel for what the movement looks like, and I'll describe to you what it feels like, and I'll give you some suggestions as to how many reps you want to start with. First thing we do is the side bend. You want to stretch up and go to the side, always emphasizing moving out in an outer direction. And you want to do, you can start with 15 in each direction, and that'll give your sides a good workout. The next thing we're going to do is the trunk rotation. What you want to remember here is you go out in a controlled manner, snap back to a lock position. Again, out, snap, and you can do 15 of those to each side and work your way up to 30. The next exercise we're going to do is the push-up. And after we've done the first two I showed you, we're going to just take 3 deep breaths in through the nose and out through the mouth.
So you don't do the breaths necessarily between each exercise.
Well, this breath is specifically after those two moves, and then we're going to do the push-ups, and there's this particular kind of breathing in between the push-ups, and I'll show you the breathing that's done between each set of exercises.
Beautiful.
Okay? Now for the push-ups, I don't know if we can get the camera angle, we want to do one set with the arms right about shoulder length and one set with them wider apart. You can start out with 10 in each position, and that should be adequate to start, and then increase as your ability increases. So basically it's a standard push-up. Do about 10 of those, and then wider apart, and 10 of those. Now after we've done the push-ups, we're going to go and work the muscles that are opposite the pectoral muscles, and this reduces the recovery time. And this is called a reverse push-up. You want your legs bent, feet flat on the floor. And, oh, good point. Before we do that, let's do the breathing. I'll demonstrate the breathing that you do in between the exercises. Your legs, you want about 30 degrees apart, and with your arms at 3 and 9 o'clock, breathe in 3 deep breaths in through the nose and out through the mouth. That's 3 in that position, then 3 at 2 o'clock and 10 o'clock, and 3 at 11 and 1, and then 3 at high noon. Okay? Now, we're going to do the reverse push-ups. You want your elbows just about at your sides, and you're going to use the muscles between your shoulder blades to lift your trunk up off the floor. And you do about 15 of these, work your way up to 30, then bring your arms out a little further and do 15 of those, and then 15 of those, and again at 9 and 3 o'clock, do 15 of those. That'll strengthen the muscles between the shoulder blades, and it'll relax your pecs. Now you do the breathing. And again, it's 3, 3, 3, and now we start the first set of sit-ups. And what we're going to do is crunches. You're just going to bring your head and shoulders, upper back off the floor, and we're going to have the legs bent at 90 degrees with the forelegs parallel to the floor, and we're going to do 10 push-ups in each of 3 positions. Start with 10. So
Yeah.
sit-ups, excuse me. Start with 10 and work your way up to 20. So you want to do 10 like this, and then bring your legs down a bit and do 10 like this, and bring your legs down a bit more, and 10 like this. So basically you're doing 90, 45, and maybe 30 degrees.
And are you going slowly? Are you going quickly? What is the rhythm and speed?
The emphasis is on smooth. You don't want to jerk yourself up. You want to just very smoothly bring yourself up.
And where
Okay.
is your mind while you're doing that?
Your mind is focused on your body, on the exercise,
On the movement?
on the movement. Right,
Got it.
exactly. Now, after you've done the sit-ups, you want to breathe. Breathe again. Now, this time, after the third breath at 12 o'clock, because you're going to change position, you're going to go from laying on your back to laying on your stomach. We do what I call a positional breathing, and that prevents dizziness from making any postural change. So on the third breath, you just come up into a seated position, and then 3 deep breaths in through your nose and out through your nose. And then you roll over on your stomach, and you've just worked your stomach muscles, so now you're going to work the back muscles by doing reverse sit-ups and reverse leg raises. The reverse sit-up, you want to bring your head and chest up off the floor, but don't lead with your head. Bring it up as a unit. And do 30 of those, and 30 leg raises with your legs together. After you've done that, and this really
So you're going to feel that in your lower back and your buttocks.
and your buttocks, right. You get strong back and buns of steel.
Yeah.
Then you roll on your back. And now we do the breathing. 3 in this position, 3 in this position, 3 in this position, and 3 in this position. Do the next set of sit-ups, and they're going to be the same leg positions, here, here, and here, basically 90, 45, and 30. This time we're going to work the obliques, and as we come up, we're going to bring the elbow to the midline of the body. And again, it's smooth. The focus is always on smooth. And do 10 in each position, and 10, and 10. And after you've done those, you want to do the breathing. Breathe, 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 breathe. And again, you want to do the positional breathing, coming up into a seated position, and breathe in 3 times through the nose, and then back on your abdomen to do the reverse sit-ups and the reverse leg raises. Then on your back, and again it's breathe, 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 and breathe. And then the positional change, because now we're going to stand up. We get into the standing position, and we start the first of the arm exercises. We're going to do the curl. And basically, the curl is in 3 positions. 1, and you're going to do 15 in this position, 15 in this position, 15 in this position, and then 15 in this position, and 15 in this position. And again, you're creating the tension with your mind. So this can be as rigorous an exercise as you choose. After the curls, it's back on your back.
Now you are, Tony, when you're doing those curls, you are using your muscles with your mind to create the tension.
Without a doubt,
Correct.
you're creating as
You're
much tension
really
as you want.
squeezing, not unlike, some isometric exercises. Similar.
This is actually, I think they call this isotonic.
Isotonic.
But
okay.
basically, this is more effective than weights because you're able to max the muscle out through the full range of the exercise.
Perfect.
And you'll find when you do these, they look deceptively easy, but when you do these, they can be very challenging. So again, the breathing, 3 in each position. And we do our next exercise for the abdomen, and this is going to be a lateral sit-up, legs slightly bent. And if you're going to exercise the right side, put the right arm over the left. And basically what you're going to do is come up into a lateral side bend, a lateral sit-up rather. And you're going to do 60 in this position, then lay on your back, do the breathing in all 4 positions, and then lay on the other side, this time putting the left arm over the right, and again 60 repetitions. You can start with 30, of course, work your way up to 60. On your back, you breathe, and then you do your positional breathing, and then you lay face down and do your reverse sit-ups and your reverse leg raises. And now,
So whenever you do one side, you also do the opposite.
always do the opposite. That because you want both sides to be strong. Now you're on your back and you're going to do the last of the sit-ups, and this time you can lay on your side and just shift your upper body to your legs slightly bent, and you're going to do sit-ups. We're going to do the right side first, so the right arm's over the left, and again it's coming right up and working those obliques nice and smooth. And you want to do 60 in this position, and then do the breathing. And the other side, shift the upper back out, and this time the left arm over the right, and do 60 in this position. And then breathing, and then lay face down, and do the reverse sit-ups and the reverse leg raises. Always being sure to keep the legs straight and the knees locked. Now, one variation I might mention is as you're doing the reverse sit-ups and leg raises, you can do one set with the legs together, another set with the legs about 15 degrees apart, and a third set with the legs about 30 degrees apart. And that attacks the glutes in 3 different areas and is an excellent idea. Okay? Mm-hmm. Then you lay on your back, do the breathing, come up into the positional breathing, and then stand. And we're going to do our curls, which is our second exercise for the arms. And the wrist curls, you start with your hands open. The image is that you have a bar from which is suspended a rope. And at the end of the rope is a weight. And you're going to wind the rope up on that bar and raise the weight. Again, this is deceptively easy when you look at it, but to do it is very challenging. So you have this position, and this position. Do 15 in each position. Then put your arms straight out and 15, 15, and 15. Then arms up over the head, 15, 15, 15. Arms at the side, 15, 15, 15. And then back to the original position, 15, 15, 15, and then close out by going back to the original, 15 in each position. Now the next move is you're back on your back, and this is called the plow. This is an excellent exercise for strengthening the abdomen and for stretching out the back and the spine. Basically, now you've done your breathing, your arms are over your head, you bring the legs slowly up and over, and toes to the floor. And you do 5 in that position, spread your legs slightly, 5 in that position, spread your legs slightly more, maybe 30 degrees, 5 in this position. And when you've completed that, then you can just raise it in 4 positions, doing a scissor kick, and that'll work the abdomen very effectively. Okay? Then do your breathing, 3, 3, 3, and 3. Your positional shift, where you come up, and breathing, then face down, and do the reverse sit-ups and the reverse leg raises. Then on your back, and breathe, the positional breathing, and come up. And now you're going to stand, you're going to do the next wrist exercise. And this is the grip. And basically the same positions as the last exercise, and the emphasis is on extending your fingers and come into a tight fist. So you do 15 like this, 15, 15, 15, 15, 15, 15, 15, 15, 15 in each position, then back to these positions, and again doing 15 in each position. And I suggest you start with 15 and just increase or decrease the tension as you need to. Now it's back on your back. Do the breathing in each of 3 positions. And this is our last exercise on the floor. We're going to bring the legs up at 90 degrees, 4 legs parallel to the floor, and the arms over the head, and you're gradually going to lower the leg to the floor until the calf touches the floor. And I suggest doing 40 of those. They're very challenging. When they're complete, do your breathing, do your positional shift breathing, 3 breaths in and out through the nose, then lay face down and do your last set of reverse sit-ups and your last set of reverse leg raises. This one, just for demonstration, we'll do with the legs at 30 degrees apart. Then you lay on your back, do your breathing, do your positional shift breathing, and then the last exercise we're going to do is standing, and we're going to do a reverse lunge to work the legs. And basically, you want to bring the leg back, foreleg no more than 90 degrees, and you'll find that this very effectively works the legs. I suggest using your arms for balance, and you want to do about 12 in each position. And that is the transformational workout. If you do it, you will find that you'll get the results you want, and you'll be so excited about how you feel that you'll continue to do it every day. And in 4 to 6 months, you can achieve the same results I have. Thank you.
Wonderful. So, thanks so much for taking us through that workout. Now, people know that when people do things on this show, there's a physical aspect to it oftentimes, and there's a metaphysical to it. So, you showed us the breathing, but would you please cue us in on the other levels that were activated through your doing this?
Right. The true purpose of the transformational workout is to increase the body's ability to handle the new energetics. Because this is level 1.
Mm-hmm.
All right, it started out as a half-hour
And you've got
program.
a couple of other levels coming.
Started out as a half-hour program. I do an hour-and-a-half program about 4 or 5 times a week.
Right.
And there's a level 2 and 3. And they've not yet released level 2 and 3 to me. They're not doing that until level 1 is out there in the public place. We're preparing a full-length exercise video now to do just that. And then level 2 and 3 will be marketed by direct market only to the people that have purchased level 1. Because until you've mastered level 1, you really cannot handle the energetics of level 2 and 3. Now, they've not told me exactly what level 2 and 3 are.
They.
Yeah,
Right.
whoever they are.
You know them.
They have not told me what level 2 and 3 are, but
They're in the making.
They've inclined me to believe that by the end of level 3, that one will be levitating and the like.
In the light, too.
And in the light.
Right,
too.
sure.
Exactly.
But what this is actually definitely doing, Tony, is to already begin to oxygenate the body through not only the movements, but the movements in coordination with breath, really very much the way yoga does,
Oh, yes.
or Tai Chi or Qigong done properly.
And it clears the energy fields, it clears the nervous system, it increases the flexibility of the spine, It just opens up your energetic fields.
It's beautiful. It's beautiful. It looks great. I mean, it looks great. And, you know, if you're a testament to how it works, you know, it's good news.
Well, the only way it worked for me is it was fast, fun, and effective and required no equipment.
Yeah.
It's got to be
Right.
fun or I'm not interested.
It's right, you know. Yeah, I mean, it also looks, I was a little surprised by one thing. Maybe you could explain this. The back and forth this way, you said there was really a very sudden, almost like a jarring.
Right, where you go
Quality.
out under control because you don't want to be cracking your spine and you come back quick and stop, that puts the stress on the muscles.
Instead of on the spine?
Yeah, it's no stress on the spine, it's
Sure.
on the muscles themselves. When they tighten up to stop, that tightens all the abdominal muscles and the back muscles.
In yoga, we do a movement that's very much like this, where we go to one side and then the other. I just heard my spine crack just then. But we go back and forth, and we just kind of swing back and forth. The spine remains virtually erect, and we are pivoting, in a sense, around it. But we
Right.
don't stop in the middle.
Right, so you're not effectively working the muscles in that way.
In other words, you get an extra little something.
Actually, I think this move in yoga is designed to allow movement in the spine. All right, I'm
That's
specific.
right.
This also
Like the
allows
spinal twist. It's just another form of a spinal twist.
Exactly, and
Yeah.
this also allows for movement of the spine, but minimizes the stress. What I don't want people doing is swinging out and looking for that cracking of the spine for release, because that need for release indicates that something's going on mechanically and
Something's
neurologically,
tight.
and it needs to be corrected.
Right, right. It means it's indicating that something's tight. and
Time
needs
for a
to be
chiropractor.
released. That's right, and you happen to be a chiropractor, right? Indeed. But the other extra dimension that I'm getting here is that you're making this and putting the attention to the muscular, abdominal tension, stress.
The abdominal and the back muscles,
Yeah.
both of which, if they're strong, stabilize the spine.
Beautiful.
And that-
So in San Diego, Tony, you have something called the Life Center. Is that so?
yes, the San Diego Life Center.
Just give us a little bit of an idea of what it is you do there and what it is that you intend to do.
Well, basically, we're creating a center where people can come together to explore these new technologies, the Illumination, the Transformational Workout, as well as a modification of network chiropractic that I do. There'll also be opportunities for weekend seminars and workshops, body work. Basically, we're creating a center to pull together the new technologies that are now available on the planet to kickstart people's personal transformation.
It's funny, that's something very much like what I'm doing in New York with slightly different technologies, but related.
And I wouldn't be surprised
Wonderful.
if there's others of us on the planet doing very similar things.
I know there are, but they're not quite hooked up with us yet. But they will be.
Yes, they will.
Soon. That's wonderful. Well, you're doing great work. You really are.
Thank you.
We really appreciate it out here on the East Coast. It's really nice to have a little kind of a fertilization, if you will, of the West Coast energy and here, because in the East we tend to sometimes get a little stuck in our own kind of northeastern geomantic patterns.
Isn't it exciting that these types of things are happening everywhere?
Yeah,
I mean,
it really
everywhere
is.
you go, people
It
are
really is.
becoming more aware.
Something's afoot.
We're out of the closet.
We're out of the closet. We're here, folks. We're here. Well, look, why don't you give us your phone number, would you?
Sure.
So if people want to learn more about the Transformational Workout and Illumination, which we'll be going into in the next show, so please stay tuned, people can get in touch with you.
Good. It's Dr. Tony Minervino. We're in San Diego, California, and the number is 619-224-4377.
Excellent. Very good. Well, we are very glad to have had you on and sharing this work that you're doing.
It's been a pleasure being here.
And, I'll just make a last comment, Tony. A lot of people who are involved in the spiritual, mystical, metaphysical world have forgotten about their bodies. They've forgotten about the vehicle where the real kind of a playpen, where it's all supposed to be happening. This is the elixir field right here, I mean, there are beings from all over who want this vehicle, so you're really helping to integrate that physical consciousness with the mental and emotional and spiritual, and I really appreciate that, for one. Please know.
Because the whole idea is to be effective here.
You got it.
And it helps to have a body.
I've noticed. This is Mitchell J. Rabin for A Better World. Thanks so much for joining us. My number's 212-420-0800. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next week.
Oh, you're good.
Hello, and welcome back to A Better World. This is your host, Mitchell J. Rabin, and we're very glad that you're joining us again today. Today we're going to have another very interesting show. We have asked Dr. Tony Minervino to come back with us, who's here from San Diego. There he is a chiropractor and is doing some really fabulous work in transformational workouts, which you saw last week. And this week we're going to be focusing on another aspect of Tony's work, which is called the Illumination Process. And he's going to be walking us step by step, so you'll see him doing it, so to speak, to me, and also simultaneously to you. So by watching, by being present for this process, you will in fact experience directly the illumination process that Tony has received. So good to have you on the show again, Tony.
Thank you. It's good to be here.
Great. Wonderful. Give us a little bit of illumination, if you will, on what is the illumination process.
Certainly. The illumination process, or simply the illumination, is an opening within which a person can let go of whatever they're willing to let go of, without having to know what they're letting go of or even how to let go. Essentially, the potential is to finish the process, get up off the table or the floor, wherever it's being done, totally free in present time, having let go of all past mental, physical, and emotional baggage.
Wow. Now, how does the body, mind discern what's baggage and what's worth keeping?
Doesn't have to. This is all done automatically. Again, the only rules in the illumination is the agreement to sit comfortably or lay comfortably with your eyes closed. That's it. The letting go is automatic. See, the part of you that's teaching you all the time, that's the part that knows what it's time to let go of. And that's the part that knows how to let go. That's why
what to let go of.
And what to let go of. That's why this is an initiation. It's not an ongoing treatment like chiropractic or any type of repetitive therapy. It's an initiation. And once you have the process, once you've experienced it, you've made that commitment to let go of the past, to love and forgive the others involved and yourself, and be present. Because life is a present time phenomenon. No one's ever been anywhere else but here and now.
It's a wonderful present. Yeah. Interesting. Okay. Now, how is it that you came to this process? And what have been some of the results that people have experienced from doing it?
Right. Basically, I became an illumination master, if you will, by initiation. Someone did the process on me, and when I got up off the table, I knew immediately this was my work. And at the time, the work was such that a person was treated many times. And the work would last for 3 hours, 5 hours, sometimes all night.
Really?
Okay. With me, the work is 20 minutes to a half hour table time, whether I'm working with one person or 20, and it's a one-time initiation. And that was the original vision of the people that developed this work as the awakening in Florida many years ago. I've never met those people.
Wow. So it went from them to someone who then initiated you, and now you to others.
Right. I was initiated by Kimmy Martin out of Crestone, Colorado. And to my knowledge, she's not doing the work presently. And whether or not the people in Florida are still doing the awakening, I don't know. This is a new technology. It's been downloaded from whomever, from them.
Yeah.
Them
again.
The famous them.
Isn't that something?
But it's a very exciting technology. I worked with a fellow 6 months ago that I walked into a group meeting. They knew I did this work. They asked me to work on him. And I said, what's the story? And they said, well, he's scheduled for a cancer operation tomorrow. What I did not know is that he had cancer throughout his kidney. His blood pressure was 200/159. The cancer had metastasized to his leg, his shoulder, and 3 places in his spine. And why they were opening him up, I could only guess that it was to truly evaluate just how bad the situation was. This man was dying. When I explained to him that this was an opening within which he could let go of whatever he's willing to let go of without having to know what he's letting go of or even how to let go. I explained to him the potential is to even let go of whatever he's carrying forward into the present that's causing his cancer. And I asked if he understood, and he did. After the work was complete, I had a sense that he had undergone a dramatic consciousness shift. But I didn't say anything because I didn't want to set him up. The next day he went in for surgery. They did the blood test preliminary to surgery, canceled the surgery, did an MRI and a bone scan, set him up for an 8-hour battery of tests, and then said, look, come back in 3 weeks, we want to do more tests. And 3 weeks later they just said, you don't have cancer. He got married 3 months ago. He's pretty happy. Again, though, this is not a treatment for any disease. And I don't want it to be understood as such. This is really about being in present time. And being in present time, which allows you to be optimally effective, is really more important than considerations like disease.
Right. I hear you. It's pretty powerful. pretty powerful. Will you illuminate us?
Excellent. I'd love to do that.
Okay.
And for the benefit of our viewing audience,
Yes.
I will talk my way through it. Usually the illumination is done silently.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, but I will talk my way through it and explain to them what I'm doing, why I'm doing it, and what effect it's creating.
Okay. And what you're doing, even while talking through it, will still have an energetic effect on the audience. Is that so?
Absolutely.
For those who are open to it.
Absolutely.
Okay. Very good. Allons-y.
Excellent. Mother, Father, God, we call upon you now to be with us, to empower us and guide us to effect this perfect work. And I call upon all the beings that work with us, who would assist us at this time, and I thank you for your participation. Let the illumination begin. Okay, now I'm opening the energy field, separating the energy fields, and I'm lifting out the subtle bodies, and I'm passing them off to be healed and balanced. And I'm going into the heart area and just making a fine-tune adjustment in the heart chakra, similar in the solar plexus that has to do with the power center, and the creative center, which is known as the sex chakra. And I'm going to create a balance between the heart chakra and the sex chakra so that that creative energy is love-based. And again, bringing up the solar plexus. And now the communication center, the throat chakra. And opening up the crown. Just open to increase the energy flow at that level. Okay. Now we're balancing the field around in the area of the head, which has to do with mental facilities, mental faculties, working on the chakras around the knees. And now we're into the what I call the grounding chakra. It's below the feet. And oftentimes a person is grounded, but they're not grounded in their own truth, in which case we'll remove that and establish a ground that is reflective of their own truth. His ground is very well established. Okay, I'm going to open up the heart chakra here. And we're going to remove some cording that is present. It's the result of previous agreements that no longer serve in the present. We're opening that up. Good. And okay. We're taking out an energetic mass and just dialing that chakra in. Solar plexus is moving nicely. Creative center is open. And the root chakra, we're going to open that up. That's better. And we're going to remove some attachments in that area. This has a lot to do with identity. And it's also the seat of the Kundalini energy. Very important for all processes. Okay. All right, now we're working in an area that I call the Perception Chakra. Actually, it's much higher than this, but we're working on it as though it were right where we are, because that's more. Okay, and that's open and functioning very well. Okay. Good. Now we're just stepping back, checking the whole field, scanning. Okay, there's something going on right in this area. We're just clearing the area. We're going to balance the energetics. Good. Okay, now we're going to open up and increase the grounding base. Good. Okay. And we're going to balance it with the crown and with the perceptual chakra. Okay. We're going to establish a feedback loop between the perceptual chakra and the grounding chakra. This will give him immediate feedback on his perception from outside himself. He'll be able to sense immediately how it squares with his truth. As we perceive things from the outside, we want to make an instant evaluation as to whether it is or is not us. So there's a lot of information out there, and not all of it is for us. We virtually create our realities through our beliefs, and beliefs are choices. Good. Okay. Okay, we're going to open up the communication center here, which is very important. Perceiving the truth and grounding that truth and speaking that truth are all equally important. Okay, and we're going to link that up with the heart chakra. We're going to link it up with the power center, with the creative center, with the root, with the grounding chakra, with the crown, with the perceptual area, and again dialing in the heart chakra. Good. And we're going to connect all these centers. Now we're working in the third eye. We're going to connect all these centers with the heart. Because love is the power that makes the whole thing work. Good. That's excellent. Excellent. That's nicely balanced. Just stepping back to evaluate. Do a little work in the area of the head. Just clear the mental space. Excellent. Good. We're basically dialing in the different centers. And that appears to be complete. Everything appears very clean. We're going to call in the subtle bodies, replace them, and we're going to close the energy field with a clockwise rotating field of energy. We open them with a counterclockwise rotating field of energy. Now we close with a clockwise. I want to honor the Master within for this courageous work, and I want to honor all those that assisted us in this work. And the illumination is complete.
Well, Tony, I'm in a different space than I was when we first began this show.
I can see that.
Can you? I'm in a real different place. I feel just profoundly relaxed and centered and really, in a sense, nonverbal. You know? What is it that you experienced when you were doing this?
Well, as you recall, we did the work with you on Friday. Right, and the first thing that...
Tony led me through this in a group of us, actually, recently, on Friday.
And the first thing that I noticed when I was checking your energy fields is they're real clean. They're very clean. A lot has taken place as a result of the work we did Friday.
Mm-hmm.
The work I did today had to do with fine-tuning certain areas and setting up new connections. However, in a very real sense, I was really just acknowledging what you're doing anyway. In fact, at the most fundamental level, when I initially do the illumination on someone, I'm really acknowledging the process that they're creating within themselves already. Because in a very real sense, no one can really do anything to anyone.
Yeah.
We all create our own realities.
Right. We do interface, but I hear
Without
what you're
a doubt,
saying.
by agreement.
Right. Exactly. And so we allow another person's energy to elicit this or facilitate that or nudge us or support us.
Sure.
Right.
Or another way of saying it is we create someone else, help.
That's right.
And we empower them to do that.
That's right. We give permission, etc.
It's really all about magic.
Yeah.
And whether you're addressing a physical condition through surgery, through medicine, radiation, homeopathic remedies, nutrition,
or belief system,
or the illumination, it's all about magic.
That's right. That's right.
We create the disease, we create the cure.
Yeah. What else were you picking up on? I mean, you say that you notice a difference between what began on Friday and just now.
Well, on Friday I was very busy with you on Friday. I had a ball. I mean, there were all kinds of things to remove and reconnect and connections that didn't need to be there, and opening up areas that were closed down. But today you were very open. We could amplify certain areas, and we could subtly modify the connections between things. But you were definitely cooking today.
I feel that way.
Yeah.
That's for sure. Now, when you say modify, amplify, first of all, what is it that you're picking up? How would you describe what it is you're sensing? And what is it that motivates you to tweak?
Okay. Well, my primary indicator is knowingness. All right. When I started out in this work, I just knew. And I didn't know where I was going to be until I was there. I didn't know what I was going to do until I was doing it. And when I was there doing it, I had no idea what I was doing. But I knew the rightness of it. And I'll tell you, my left brain was screaming. It was thinking, oh, great. We're going to spend the rest of our life doing what we don't know what we're doing. This is going to be a lot of fun.
Yeah, right.
And it was a major shift for me, being a doctor.
What a fate.
Exactly.
Sorry.
And being a doctor, I'm used to working with my knowledge and within the scope of my knowledge.
Yes.
And this was all about getting beyond what I think I know and moving into a new level of knowingness. And I never considered myself a clairvoyant. I have fits of clairvoyance occasionally, like we all do. But my primary sense was, and as I've continued to do the work, I've begun to see energy. I've begun to feel it more sensitively.
So when you're in front of, let's say, the heart chakra, are you feeling energy connecting to your hands?
Exactly. And sometimes it's too strong. Sometimes it's too weak. Sometimes the waveform lacks a coherence.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and there's a lot of interference. And basically with my hands, what I'm doing is creating an interference pattern with the energy that's there, and together that interference pattern creates a new level of coherence.
Interesting. So is it your own energy field then that is interfacing with, let's say, my heart chakra's field?
That's one way of looking at it, yes.
I mean, that presupposes that we have fields at all,
It-
and that we own them, and that we could refer to them as something like mine and yours.
Right. Well-
when in fact, we don't own anything.
And we own everything,
Yeah.
okay?
But either way you look at it, it's certainly not our localized picture of ownership.
No, it's
You know,
not.
It's
And
like a cell owning its cytoplasm. You know, give me back that cytoplasm. It doesn't really go
It's
that
just
way.
inherent in the nature of a cell.
Yeah.
In a
Right.
very real sense, any distinction we make as far as where I end and you begin is
Yeah.
purely arbitrary.
That's right.
I mean, we're really all one thing.
That was the point of the metaphor. Exactly.
Yeah, we're really all one consciousness.
That's right. All we're dealing is with different levels of permeability of the membranes.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're all playing this dance.
Sure. So when you decide to, just to get a little bit more specific about the tweaking, which by the way is a very technical term, as you know.
Yes.
You wanted to connect, I heard you saying, even though I was in a total trance, two chakras, is that it? You were looking to
Yes.
connect them in another way or something?
Well, I'm
What was that about?
basically, where you're at now, given your commitments and your shift in reality and your understanding and your intention as to what your work is and what it requires a new energetic. So the chakras, as they were with the attachments that you had that are the result of previous agreements and the like, okay, no longer serve to allow for the level of energetics that are necessary for you to do the work you're doing now. So basically, we remove connections that no longer serve you, and we also remove the connections between chakras that no longer will serve. Bring the chakras up to a higher level of energetic output and flow, if you will, then reconnect the chakras in a way consistent with your present energetic demands. Now, if you notice, when we opened up the communication center, we then linked it into the heart because we want it to be heart-based, the power center because we want your power to be able to come through the communication, through the creative center, which is the sexual area, the grounding, the root chakra, all right, which is your identity, a source of the magnificent power they call the Kundalini. We hooked it in with the crown chakra and the third eye, so that as you perceive things and as you see things, you're able to communicate that effectively. And having established all those centers, we did two other things. We created a feedback loop between what I call your perceptual chakra, how we get things from beyond, from them, and your grounding chakra, which is below the feet, which is really your truth. And I mentioned that some people are grounded, but they're not grounded in their truth. They're grounded in someone else's truth. And as long as that's the case, you have no way of knowing what's true or what isn't, because you're not even operating from your own truth. But once you're grounded in your own truth, everything you perceive either squares with who you are or it doesn't. And my advice to people is, if you hear something that doesn't feel good, don't buy it. It's not yours. That doesn't mean it's not valid. It's just not true for you. There's a conception out there that we're all living in the same reality. We are not living in the same reality. We all have our own unique personal realities.
Interpretation.
Exactly. It's all about interpretation.
That's right.
We're constantly filtering our reality through our own truths.
Time it's important to look at and see the filters of reality as well. So it's interpreting interpretation. you could say.
Exactly. And
Which is
changing those filters if they no longer serve us.
That's right. You've got to first see that you've got filters to change them. Most people are living with reality so close to the skin, so identified, so attached that they don't see that there is a perceptual filter through which they're seeing life. They just see it as life.
Right, they think that's the way it is.
That's right.
When in fact, there's no such thing as the way it is. There's only the way it appears to
see
you.
it.
Exactly. And that filter that we're talking about is actually your beliefs.
Right.
Your beliefs create your conceptual grid. And your conceptual grid is the filter through which you perceive all reality.
And when you step out of that box, you can see your grid.
Exactly. And also, you're focusing your consciousness in terms of your creativity back through the same beliefs. And that creates a reality which reflects back to you the evidence that your belief is true.
That's right.
And it goes back to the old saying, if you believe you can or you can't, you're right.
That's right. Whichever it is, take your choice. Exactly. And you can also then shift your beliefs once you see what they are.
Exactly.
And you can't before that.
You're not conscious of them.
You're not conscious of them.
You're walking around thinking that you're perceiving things exactly the way they are.
Exactly. Like most of our politicians.
I think they might be running around pretending that things are the way they'd like us to believe they are.
The whole game, obviously, as we're saying, is a game of consciousness. And this is part of what it means,
Right.
that you can see the filters through which you are perceiving what you refer to as reality.
And what's disconcerting for some and a source of joy for others is that as we become more aware, you can't lie to someone who tells the truth. Because anyone who consistently tells the truth will spot a lie immediately.
That's right.
It just falls flat.
That's right. That's right.
So we're about, I think, to remove one of the primary obstacles to developing telepathic skill, and that is our issue of self-love.
Yeah.
You know, if you don't love yourself, you certainly don't want other people to know what you're thinking, or they won't love you either.
That's right.
Right? Once we forgive and love ourselves, then
Yeah.
we're an open book.
That's right. And they say that forgive, I had a gentleman on the show recently who spoke about the Aramaic origin of the word forgiveness. And it's not, I pity thee, my son, and I now forgive you for what your trespasses have been, but it's rather a making whole. And so you're reflecting something to me about myself that I need to integrate into myself so I can forgive. I can make whole myself. Because before that there was something projected where I may have hurt somebody or something. Some part of myself that had not been owned. And you reflecting it back to me by saying, Mitch, you know, you shouldn't have done that, or you hurt me, or what have you. It then comes back to me and I can be made whole again. Anyway, I tell you, this has been fabulous, Tony. And I really thank you for this fabulous work.
Thank you for the opportunity.
It's my pleasure. Why don't you give everybody your phone number, if you would, if they'd like to get more information and get in contact with you?
Certainly. It's Dr. Tony Minervino, and I'm in San Diego, California, and the number is 619-224-4377.
Wonderful. Why don't you say it one more time?
619-224-4377.
Wonderful. This is Mitchell J. Rabin for A Better World. We're very glad that you've joined us again. Feel free to call me at 212-420-0800 in New York. Love hearing from you, and I look forward to seeing you all next